Hey everybody, welcome to the Permission Portal with Paul Mark and Laz. I'm Paul Mark.
And I am Laz. Let's open the portal.
So Laz, it's been a long time. It's good to see you again.
Season 2, baby.
We have been rocking this, and thank you. I'm so happy that I get to work with you.
Likewise, we work well together, fam.
We do. And we have a guest today that is someone that helps to get people together. And our guest today is an organizational strategist and systems designer for creatives, mystics, healers, and neurodivergent beings. Known as the Art Midwife, she helps leaders birth and scale their businesses so they can live a life of freedom and authenticity. She's a world traveler, aspiring land steward, and proud auntie mama who laughs loudly and shines brightly wherever she goes. Let's welcome Rachel Muwanga to the portal.
Peace.
Yay! Real applause.
What's up, Rachel? Welcome.
Peace. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here. It's good to see your faces again. It's been a little while since I've seen you.
Yep.
So thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So let's kick it off. Art Midwife. What is that?
So I help visionaries, leaders, founders birth their ideas into real, tangible, livable experiences.
Okay.
So yeah.
Go. So how have you been showing up in business?
How have I been showing up in business? That's a good question.
Mm.
I like the format of that. Yeah, because it makes me think with a different part of my brain. Ooh. Oh, okay. I'm with professionals. Let me just adjust
Yeah.
myself. I feel like
Let's
I
go.
didn't know who I was.
She just today.
We're not
Yeah.
just playing around here. This is not
Yeah.
our first rodeo. This is season 2 now.
Season 2, baby. We in the
I
groove.
see. I see. We right here now.
We
Okay.
here, yeah.
Yeah, I got you now. I see what I done signed up for.
You already ready. Come on now.
I am.
You got it.
So how have I been showing up in business? I've been showing up with integrity and authority.
Mm.
I recently posted about having audacity without being an asshole. Are we allowed to say cuss
Yeah,
words?
go ahead.
Okay.
This is a permission portal. What you think?
You have permission to say what you need to say.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's all I needed. And just get like we're saying, permission, giving ourselves permission to say what we need to say in the business world. I did catch a recent clip of the permission portal with Kelly, and she was saying it's not business is personal. And so I've been showing up with integrity and with authority and with the gumption to say what I need to say.
I love
That's what's
that.
up.
And, to live authentically, even in business, because some people will say how they want to live in their personal life and then put on their business outfit and show up like a cookie cutter because that's what you do. And it is so important to just be authentic wherever you are, whenever you are. What
Yes, it
jobs?
really is.
Yes, definitely. So, what jobs have you done that you enjoyed the most?
Hmm.
Because I know with your bio, you've done a lot of different things. So,
Yes.
what lit you up the most?
Yeah, that 6'2" Manjin had to explore a variety of experiences. And
Mhm.
there's a couple things that lit me up the most. Like overall, it's event coordinating. I love being the boss. I love being the one that everyone has to come to answer their questions. And so I love delegating and leading. But the two events that stick out the most to me is the first wedding I did because that was the
Mhm.
first time I was the like orchestrator of a large crowd of people. And then when I did the sacred path of the intuitive doula program. So I was the assistant host for a doula certification. So it was a 1 week certification followed by a Riverside spiritual initiation and a graduation at the end. And I think that one, if I had to pick a favorite, it would be that one because I got to operate in my Empress boss mode and I got to operate in my spiritual bushwoman guide. And that just really ties it back into authenticity. Like, I feel like I got to show up as my full self in that particular project.
And so you mentioned being an aspiring landowner. What
Land
is that
steward.
journey looking like? Land steward. Yes, that's right. Land steward. What
No,
is
thank you,
that journey
Spirit.
looking like?
Yeah, no, thank you, Spirit, for that correction because that's exactly why I say steward and not owner. To be an owner of something is to possess, to believe that it is under your control. To be a
Okay.
steward of something is to be a protector, to be the
Hmm.
one who is making sure that whatever you're stewarding over is functioning at its highest potential based upon its natural function, not what I want to force it to become, what it already is, and just protecting and nurturing, in this case, the land. And so I want to be able to steward over land and over the animals and the insects and the trees over that particular piece of land. I want to share that with my friends and my family as a means of, babes, okay, I know we're going to get into this already, but just a preview about what we're about to talk about. I recently went to Africa and everybody had a garden. That was when it hit for me. Like, every single person I'm around has this connection to the land. They don't live separately from the land. And so to come back home and like everyone I know spends most of their time in a building, everyone I know is glued to their phones, everyone I know is pale because they ain't really getting vitamin D like we supposed to as melanated folks. And so to have that contrasting experience, it really ignited my desire to be a land steward and not a landowner, like we were saying.
Wow. And so let's just go right into it. That trip to Africa, you were talking about the trip to Uganda. So how did that affect you? What's that story?
So I know we briefly mentioned the title, which I don't know if it's decided, but you said that when I told you my story, it was giving permission to explore your roots or
Yeah,
something.
to connect to your roots.
And so it wasn't linear. It was all tangled and intersected. It was truly an indescribable network that I reconnected to. For just a little bit of backstory, I grew up in America as a first generation American. My father is from Uganda, and I never met that entire side of my family. I didn't grow up with the Black half of my family. To be able to see, to meet my grandmother for the first time, my aunties, my uncles, my cousins, and I'm looking at faces that kind of look like mine, and they got moles just like me, and the women there have bodies just like my body, and it was very intersected, its roots. And so there's a lot of different facets of how was Africa like for me. And
Hmm.
so I thought about like, how are we going to have this conversation? And so maybe I could just give you like my intersections, like all the different intersections, and then we can just pick one and go.
Well, yeah. Well, so you said you've never seen the black side of your family. So does that mean that your mother is less melanated?
Yes, my mother is white from
What?
Tennessee, from Tennessee. Yes, and my I grew up in Kentucky, and so they
Okay.
my parents met at university here in Kentucky,
Oh,
and
that's like that.
so yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, even that was just so it's just so loaded because the first thing, the first realization I had when I got off that plane was,
Mhm.
oh, okay, like you're in Africa, babe. Like no, these people, I don't look like these people. Everyone is chocolate. Everyone has the most beautiful chocolate rich skin, and I stood out like a
And you're
sore
cafe au lait.
baby. In the summer, I'm peanut butter though. Okay. Okay. I still got a little bit of my
Peanut
summer
butter.
shade. But and so the very first thing I had to deal with was being light skinned because
Mhm.
everyone stared at me.
Dang.
Everyone stared at me, and it was the most cringe, just like it. My body instantly tightened and went inward, and it took like 2 weeks for me to deal with the fact that I'm light skinned in this very melanated, heavily melanated space. Come to find out, tying this back to my parents, come to find out it's like a commodity. I mean, we all know about skin bleaching and things like that. So we know
Mhm.
about being light skinned, but it's a commodity to like marry a white woman and have light skinned children. My female cousins were like, "Can you set me up with an American white man? I don't care if he's ugly. I don't care if he's old. Just set me up with a white man. I don't care who he is. I just want him to be white." So,
For what reason?
Wow.
Just for light skin?
hmm?
Just to so their kids can look like you?
Oh yeah.
For that reason alone?
I don't know. It's definitely not that reason alone. The wanting light skinned children, wanting to be connected to white privilege, wanting to be connected to whiteness. Whiteness is a power position in like a lot of countries. But
So
in Uganda, there was a unique pedestalization of having mixed children and having a white spouse.
Really? So that's
dang,
not just here in America.
Right, right.
that almost
Because, growing up and having family from Louisiana, some of us are your complexion, some of us are my complexion, some of us are Laz's complexion. And it's interesting that we talk about it, and it's always been, well, the pretty one is the light skinned one. But to see that, we always thought that, going back to Mother Africa, that there have been a few of us who are lighter skinned that were just like, oh, I really want to go, because it's always the lighter ones that want to go back to the roots. And we used to say, the Africans don't want you because they've left us here. And I even saw a thing, Paul Mooney, if you know the comedian and the satirist, really, Paul Mooney, he did a thing and he was like, he actually talked about how the Africans were mad at us for being mixed. And he was like, no, we're mad at you for not coming to get us.
Mm,
And so it's interesting to hear that there are some in Africa that are like, we want to mix it up, which again, I've always said if we mix it up, then there can't be a hierarchy.
I've never
But
heard that.
you haven't heard that?
Not what Rachel just said. No,
Yeah.
mhm.
absolutely not. I wouldn't think it was that way. And I've never to hear it, from her who's someone who's half African, half
Hmm.
white is wild
Yeah.
to me. Like it almost felt a little bit of sadness for the people who actually live there and are rooted in our roots and that that women over there like connect me to a white man. I don't care if he's ugly or old. I just want to, to be connected to that, to see how far and how deep, white supremacy has gotten. That's fucking wild to me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The people
Yeah,
in
it
America
runs
like
in.
don't get it. Like get over it. Or when people say get over it or stop saying talking about that, or well, you can say what you want. I'm talking about specifically people who are, I haven't had this experience, but I'm speaking specifically on what I've seen and observed of some white people trying to say that to black people. And, how can you disregard these kind of stories? Like, whatever.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It really does. Like, it also surprised me and how deeply it was ingrained even in my own family. I have cousins that are my age who intentionally did not teach their children our native tongue. And that was a sore point for me because my dad didn't teach it because he was alone. Like he didn't have anyone else here in the household to help
Mhm.
us learn as children. It was kind of his full responsibility. And that was his reason for not teaching us. But to be immersed in the language, you're living in a country where these people speak the language every day and intentionally choose to only allow your children to learn English just hurt me because I can't even have a conversation with my grandmother because my dad didn't teach us the language. I have to use a translator. And so just to see how deeply it ran over there, it was a surprise. Yeah.
Wow. And that's interesting because I have a lot of first generation friends, some from multiple countries, not just from Africa. Actually, I have some friends who were born in Africa and came here.
Mhm.
So I know their children, but my friends are the ones that were born there and came here. And it's interesting that the Africans were the ones that I heard talking about, let's keep the culture. My African friends, my Korean friends, they're the ones that were, let's keep the culture. Every other ethnicity was like, let's dive deep. I don't want to speak that language. I want to be American. I think that we're losing a little bit of that. Now, my family is from Chicago. I was actually raised here in Texas, but being the youngest, I have siblings that were raised up there, and I have, everybody, I'm the only Texan in my family. So
Mm,
to see how they are used to, and Chicago has different sections of the city, or historically had different sections. It's been gentrified now, so it's kind of mixed in, but there were different sections, and it was okay for us to say, we're going to Chinatown, going to
mhm.
Little Mexico, we're going to all these places where these people were in their own little microcosm within the city and keeping their culture. And
Yes.
so to be down here where people are just interspersed and everybody's trying to give up their culture and just be here, it kind of saddened me for a little bit. But then I realized that I get to see a whole lot more because I'm going into the houses of my friends that are from different cultures, and I can still see their culture in how they've decorated and in the keepsakes they have around. But I'm not actually seeing them live that life, And I always thought if I go to, if I go to my friend's house who's Vietnamese, it's very rare now that I see them all speaking the language and just kind of picking up on cues what they're talking about. Right now, it's like everybody's like trying to be as that they would say
Assimilate?
Okay,
normal.
say
They would say normal, but I'm like, it's like as
it.
as mixed, as indoctrinated as
Yes.
possible. Because that's
Yeah, I
that's
say
really what it
assimilated.
is.
My wife is half Mexican, half Filipina. Mom is from the Philippines. Dad is from South Texas, and she doesn't know Spanish or Tagalog. Tagalog.
Tagalog.
Neither one.
Wow.
I mean, she knows pit bits, but
hmm
her
Right.
grandma speaks Spanish like full on, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think her dad may have spoken Spanish when she was young, but she doesn't speak either one because the parents didn't make it a point to teach the kids either one.
Yeah.
I had a friend from college who is Mexican and she speaks Tex-Mex, but her mother was from Spain and her father was Mexican. And so her mother came over and spoke Castilian, like the stilted Spanish.
Mhm.
And the kids would speak to her in English and she would answer in Spanish. And it was interesting how I went to Easter with them, and they would come to visit us in college, but I went down there for Easter and I was with the family, and she would say, "My mom really likes you." And I was like, "Why?" It's like, what's going on? Because her mom taught me how to make tortillas. And I was like,
Mhm.
I'm getting in the kitchen. I'm gonna learn all that I can. And she's like, my mom really likes you. And I was like, well, why? She's like, she says it's because you're my only friend that tries to speak to her in Spanish.
Aw,
And I was like, well, this is her house. Of course I'm gonna try. Even if it's
right.
broken Spanish, and
Yeah.
I took 7 years, which it's interesting. I was fluent at one point, but in
Oh, wow.
college I decided to take French, and it
Mm,
knocked a lot of the Spanish out.
I didn't know
yeah.
that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, when I worked at a restaurant in Houston called Cafe Bistro, and this is inside Nordstrom. So Nordstrom Cafe
Mm,
Bistro. So it was on the
okay. You were high class
Right.
in
once
Nordstrom's.
once I got turned on to white tablecloth restaurants or high class restaurants,
Right.
Hmm.
it wasn't no going back.
Mhm.
I
Much
mean,
better tips. Mhm.
and that
Yeah, much.
restaurant paid seven. That restaurant, this was 2010, 10, 11, 12, early 12. I didn't go to Del Frisco's until March 12. I'm talking in Nordstrom. This is the Galleria in Houston. Okay. And they paid minimum seven, what was minimum wage back then? 7.25 plus my
Hmm.
tips. So I got a
Mhm.
paycheck. And at the time, me and Sella weren't back together yet. My child support was covered by my actual W-2 paycheck. I didn't have to get paid child support out of my tips.
Right.
Hmm.
So yeah.
So
But
yeah.
there at that restaurant, there's a lot of Latin people who come into that restaurant. And
Mhm.
during the day, mostly women, husbands at work, killing it, balling. They're coming in, shopping, Louis bags, all that stuff, right? And
Mhm.
I always wanted
a
that
lot of
life.
Spanish speaking people. Huh?
I always wanted that life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, look, I feel you. If I was a woman, I would want that light.
I was born to be a rich
Because
housewife.
that shit was inspiring to me. And so they come in, and there's a lot of Spanish speaking women. And
Mhm.
the front of the house and the back of the house were the reverse of most restaurants. I was the
Mhm.
minority in the front of the house as a server, and the white managers were minorities in the front of the house.
Mm.
So the front of the house were mostly Latin people, Mexicans, Honduras, and Ecuador. Like almost everybody in the front, servers especially, spoke Spanish. And so I learned a lot of Spanish at that restaurant. I was speaking Spanish a lot. Like I was at tables, and I remember being at certain tables where I didn't speak English because I was being able to use it. But then when I went to the back of the house, a bunch of black and white people. It
And
was
that's
it's
like the
opposite of
exact
most. I worked in a lot of
yeah.
restaurants, opposite of most restaurants, and it was a
Hmm.
really cool experience. But because I got to use Spanish a lot, but after that, the rap.
Yeah. But it
So
shows how important language is.
Yeah.
it does. So back to your trip. What made you want to go?
I've always wanted to go. Like since I was a little small girl, knowing my daddy, who's my superhero, Big Daddy's girl. My daddy's from across the world. He flew here on a plane. Like, so as a small child, I always knew that one day I would go. There was some fear about like having to get the vaccines and having to fly for that many hours. And what if I get lost or kidnapped or robbed or whatever? And but the reason why I knew, like, when the next opportunity came, the reason why I committed to it was because my grandfather passed 2 years ago. And so I didn't get to meet him physically. And my grandmother, who's in her 90s, I knew, like, if you don't go, if you don't commit, that same fact is going to be true for your grandmother. And so the reason why I was like, nah, I'm just because my dad goes about every year. So when this next trip came, I'm like, no, I'm going. I'm going this time.
So he was going all this time and you just didn't get
Yeah.
invited?
No, it's more so he didn't pay for it. he didn't want to pay for it. That would, because it's up there. So
It is, yeah.
it was more so he couldn't pay for it. And so
Okay.
this was the first time where I was like, nah, I'm gonna go. Like I could pay for it on my own. It's okay.
And
Mm.
had you had any kind of interaction, like since you don't speak the tongue, was there any phone conversations, any pictures, or like, did you know who you were meeting when you saw them?
Yeah, we grew up seeing pictures, a video call every like 5 years or something like that. We
Mhm.
got to video call with my grandfather a couple months before he passed. So it was nice for me and him to look at each other live, even though he was kind of not here present anymore. It was
Mhm.
still good to like virtually look in each other's eyes. And so, yeah, I knew some names, I knew some faces, but to be able to see them and meet them in person was pretty cool. And it actually showed me how, as a child, I invented stories about who these people were. And so to meet them in person was like, oh, okay, like you're exactly what I thought you were, or you are nothing like what I thought you were going to be. So that was
Mhm.
interesting.
So, what was the big takeaway? The biggest takeaway, I should say, because it sounds like you had a lot.
It was a lot because we can go into like poverty mindset, being biracial, being a woman, like it was a lot. And
Hmm.
the biggest takeaway was it was the expanded awareness, Condor term, expanded logic stealing
Hmm.
around my journey from girl to woman,
Hmm.
and realizing that I didn't want to stand in my power. I didn't want to stand in my empress, my queen, because even though I can clearly see that there's enough pie for everyone, if I claim my piece of pie somehow, or if I claim my power, if I stand in my goddess, somehow that's going to make the next person who's also not claiming her power, somehow it's going to take something away from her. It's going to make her feel smaller, inferior, or whatever. But that was me just projecting my own insecurities onto what would happen to the next person, because that's what happened to me when I would see a woman in her power. But now that I'm stepping into, moving from maiden to mother, I'm like, oh no, this is actually inspiring. Like I can inspire people to embrace their power because we all have a unique imprint, a unique power, a unique essence. And me not claiming mine doesn't do anything good for anybody.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah. So that
Wow.
was the biggest takeaway.
Say that again.
Listen, I don't remember. It was channeled in.
Just that last part about you not claiming your power.
I'll
Yeah,
say it.
me not claiming my power doesn't do anything positive for anybody. Yeah.
Amen.
Amen, Ashe. Like it
Yes.
just me and I can see it so clearly now as I know I'm hot stuff, okay? Like I know I'm the bee's knees. I know this. But it was not wanting to claim it out loud, like not wanting to stand and to claim my square just for out of fear of like somehow oppressing someone else.
That's interesting because when we talk about claiming our power, it's not power over anyone else. It is your power over yourself.
Yes.
It's stepping into what you're going to do.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that's so good. And it reminds me of what we were saying earlier about audacity and, not being an asshole. I have associated authority and audacity with white supremacy. I assumed that if I stood in my power and my authority and my audacity, I would be like those white men.
Hmm.
And so I was like, no, I'm never going to do it. I'm never going to be like them. Not realizing, no, baby, you get to have your own flavor. You get to do it your way. You don't have to follow these other people and how they use their power. You get to define your path for
Hmm.
yourself.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it like a white man, but I will do it like a black queen.
For sure.
One thing that comes to mind right now with what y'all are just saying is a couple years ago, I learned a distinction between a potential and people that you got so much potential and you have so much potential, but yeah, everybody has an immense amount of potential, but they don't ever, a lot of people just don't convert it into power because potential, everybody has the same amount of potential, and potential is just unused power. So
Yeah.
I have a question, still speaking on you going across the world. So we talked about Africa, right?
Right.
Your bio says world traveler. Where else have you gone?
So I actually went to the Caribbean, a little island called Grenada. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no,
Yeah.
it was glorious. It was glorious. I sat on the beach and had mangoes, and I had water out of a coconut for the first time. It was the rest that I needed after I've been traveling nonstop from February of this year to September of this year. And so it would, and I went to Grenada in July. So it was kind of like a moment to rest, sit on the beach, process and digest what the fuck just happened to me over the last 9 months. And there was some drama, but you know, we all have our lessons to learn.
Drama?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What happened there? Do tell.
Well, I had went there to see it
Oh, okay.
that you maybe know.
I knew it had something to do with a man.
Laz knows who I'm talking about.
I mean, I
I
might know him, but I don't know who you're talking about. And we don't have to say a name, but
oh, of course not. I'm not crazy.
now, but I am now. My mind is going.
So,
Because he's a condor, so
okay. Oh,
maybe.
okay. I know. I know.
So we all know now.
We know.
We all know now.
Oh
And it was
shit!
just, I think for both of us, it was, I feel like interfacing, it was our not selves. You know, in human design, you have yourself and your
Mm-hmm.
not selves. It was our not selves interfacing with each other.
Okay, I know.
Oh, okay.
Now
And
I
so
know.
it was like literally like shadow boxing. Like my unhealed shit and your unhealed shit is coming together to create a big pile of shit. We both get to smell and to look at. And man, what a powerful lesson. I was telling my bestie, it was like he metaphorically gut punched me, but it was like such a good thing. It was such a blessing. I thank him on a regular basis. I thank that man. He was the best thing that has ever happened to me because it was like that final crack of the egg. And the woman who went to Africa initially solo, like my first 2 weeks in Africa, I was alone. So the woman who solo traveled to Africa, the woman who explored all over the United States, the woman who's done all these crazy, beautiful things, finally like cracked out of me. And it was that blow that really was like, all right, fuck you. Let me show you who I really am type of experience. And so, although it was painful, I'm very grateful that I went there and had that experience with him.
Sound
He
like
is
some
an agitator for sure.
Yes, the fuck he is. My
Yeah.
God.
sound like some 6'2" shit.
I don't know what he
That
is,
fucking
but
But the
unhinged
thing
shit.
I always say is if you feel a charge, you're not done healing. And so whenever that there is the agitation, it's like, well, okay, thank you for showing me where I'm not healed yet.
it all boiled down to my father wound. And he was like the physical manifestation of my father wound that I got to like interact with in 4K. How fucking fun is that? And not saying that's who he is in his wholeness. I'm just saying
Mhm.
our shadows are not selves we're interfacing. Um,
That's who he was for you, though.
right, right. I was because that's who he was for me. That's who he is in his wholeness.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
I
yeah,
want
of
to want that
course.
to be clear. I'm not angry with him. I don't believe he's a bad person. That's just who he was for me.
You were just talking about the journey from
Girl,
girlhood to
goddess.
womanhood.
It all boiled down to my father wound. And when I was in Africa, my dad and my brother joined me after 2 weeks because essentially they kept changing their dates. And I'm like, look, I'm not changing my dates. Even if I have to go by myself, I'm going to go. And so they
Okay.
joined me 2 weeks later. And for the first time, I got to see my father just as a man and not as daddy. And so it was like the domino, the catalyst that awakened me to the root of the father wound. Like it exposed the root. And that was in March or April. So to have this experience with this man in July, it was just like the culmination. Like you identified the root, and now we need you to actually physically like work it out, and we're going to bring you the perfect person to do that with. So thank
Mm.
you, Spirit Universe. You
Every
did
time.
direct. Right.
Oh, that was hard what you said about seeing your dad as a man and not daddy. Shit, that just hit me. Wow, that distinction just hit me from my mama and my daddy. Like I've been worked through my stuff, but when you said that, something hit me like, oh shit, yeah.
Yeah. They had a whole life before they became our parents.
Right. But my mother used to tell me that all the time.
Mhm.
Because we were friends, and there were times when I was like, but you said blah blah blah, and she'd be like, but remember, I'm grown. And there were times that I remember one time she really pulled it out and she said, I lived 42 years before I met you.
Ooh, come
And
on.
I was
Ooh.
like, okay.
Okay,
Dang,
mom.
And
that's still
it
a
was
whole life.
because I found out that she had it was a very short marriage, and it was not a happy marriage, but she had an extra marriage that I didn't know about. And I was like, why don't I know about this? And she's like, I lived 42 years before I met you. You weren't there. This had nothing
Mhm.
to do with you. But it actually did, because that's how I got my god sister and other things. I was like, so that's how you're connected to that family, you
Hmm.
know? But I had no idea. I was just born into something. And it's like, and these are the people in your life. And I had no idea the backstory.
Right.
And later on, she explained to me the entire backstory. But in that moment, I was like, what? When did
Yes.
this
Yeah.
happen? Yeah.
A man is a man and
Mhm.
when he's away from his mother, and he's a different type of man when he's in front of his mother. And I, mind you, my whole life, I never saw who my dad was while he's in front of his mother. And
Yes.
so I, that backstory in unspoken body language way, I got
Mhm.
to see him. I got to ask my grandmother about who was my dad as a little boy. Apparently, he was an extroverted little skinny boy who ate a lot of avocados and jackfruit. And so I'm learning all these different things, and it's all clicking in my mind. Like, oh, this is why you have social anxiety now, and this is why you're so kind, and this is why, and so being able to put together this more complete picture of my father helped me put together a more complete picture of myself.
Exactly. Because you have a better idea of the stock you came from.
Yes. And mind so and because I went 31 years without that entire half of my family, who's also half Muslim and half Christian, which is a whole
Mhm.
other freaking ballgame. And mind you, I
Ooh,
went during Ramadan.
Oh,
oh
wow.
my
Okay.
god.
Yeah, and this was my first Ramadan that I actually participated in. So I flew to Uganda in full modesty, hijab, everything. And
Okay.
so to not have them for 31 years and then for them to all of a sudden be there, it helped me see how even if like people who are adopted, you're
Mhm.
going to be like your family in ways that are genetically imprinted in you. And so being able to see this other side of me, it just, like we're saying, it helped me see what stock I came from. Like these are the people I came
Mhm.
from. These are little things that I got from them. And so yeah, it just helped me really have a complete picture of me.
So you posted, well, when this airs, it won't be as recent, but you posted the other day the video of you doing your ice bath.
Yes.
And when you talk about being in full modesty, and you were
Yeah.
not in modesty when
No, no,
you did that.
no.
So
Not
how
in the
did
ice
that
bath.
feel?
Thank you for bringing this up. I've been on a journey when it comes to modesty because I grew up very Christian. My father's very Christian. He grew up Muslim, became a Christian later. And so I grew up with a very modest upbringing, like programming of you should feel shame for
Mhm.
showing your body. You should feel absolutely ashamed of yourself. And so being able to have this Ramadan experience and be in full modesty was interesting because it was actually the easiest part for me. So like there was like I'm following a group of girls online who are also in their first Ramadan, and the hijab and the full modesty was the hardest part for them, but it was the easiest part for me. And
Okay.
so I thought that was very interesting how natural it feels to be modest, but it also feels modest. I mean, it also feels natural for me to have my body exposed. Like it doesn't feel like something I should be ashamed of. You know, I was in a bikini in that video, and if
Mhm.
it's fine, baby, it's okay for me to have a little bit of titty out. It's okay. No one is gonna die because I have a little bit of my cleavage or you see a little butt cheek. Like, it's okay. My body is not a political statement. It's not an apology. It's not
Mhm.
a debating platform. It's not for anyone's decision. It's not anyone's decision how much or how little skin that I show on any given day. Some days, like today, I still wrap my hair. Some days, I'm in a thong and a itty bitty tiny bra, and it's fine. Like no, the world doesn't fall apart because I showed some ass today, and so that right, and so
Do
yeah, this
it.
whole
Like, it's crazy.
right,
It's crazy. I so to piggyback off that,
Are
like,
you gonna show some ass, Laz?
no, I mean, I have. I mean, I've been I've competed in bodybuilding competitions, like literal the
Yeah.
bodybuilding division, where you literally have to get your glutes shredded to show it. You
Mhm.
know, a couple years ago, I was in my hiatus from coaching, and I had got a job at a restaurant, and this was in 2022, and I left in March 23. Right, so there was this dude, great. He was great at serving, but he, man, every girl he was just like trying to and all the girls are just like, man, this is getting on my nerves. One day, it was a Saturday, it was busy. This is downtown Austin. It's nice weather outside, like it is right now, and it's popping. It's ass everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And homeboy was like, man, women just should be able to dress like that. You know, I'm already a condor, Paul Mark, by this time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, huh? And I was like, what you talking about, bro? And he was like, man, these women dress like that and it just makes me want to do this and makes me want to do that. And
Well,
I
that's
just,
on you.
right. And so this is what you're talking about, Rachel, that whole men projecting women need to be modest because they're in the oppression trap triangle saying women, making women the fucking villain and them the victim and saying the clothing is the victor. You know what I'm saying?
ooh,
That to keep them from having their sexual urges or wanting to touch her or saying something sideways to her. No, bro, you
Well,
don't have your own self-control and you're projecting that shit onto her.
exactly. And I've also seen that some of them, even the men, are very modest.
yeah,
So that they will wear a full outfit and cover up. I have a friend who is from that area, not Uganda, but from one of the countries over there. And he was showing me his full outfit, the full cover up. And he's like, some people wear full outfits underneath this, and it is too hot for all of that. But he's like, there are also some people who wear absolutely nothing under that. And he's like, and you never know who it
yeah,
is. And I was like,
Shit, I was in
interesting.
Africa wearing that shit.
And he is a person who we were on a Zoom and he was wearing bicycle shorts and was getting his cardio in. And so he's there shirtless or whatever. And then he would like go and put on a shirt. I was like, we've already seen it. You
right,
know what I'm saying?
right. You're
Yeah.
reminding me of a funny story in Uganda. Me, my dad, and my brother were shopping, and in Uganda, only boys wear shorts. If you are a man, you are to wear pants. You do not wear
Mhm.
shorts. It is not a thing. You will not see a grown man in a shorts
Mhm.
in public. It is not something you will see. And so my brother was wearing shorts and like to his knee or something like that. And so we were shopping and the lady was helping him pick out a shirt and she goes, "Oh yes, this will be so nice and you'll look so much smarter in a pair of pants." Like she threw some shade, but
Smarter.
it's because it's not normal to see a man. My brother's like 22. It's not normal to see a man in shorts. And so you reminded me of the
Not to
shade
me.
that
Well, now
lady.
isn't that
Not to me. I'll be like,
isn't
you
that
look
also
smarter than everybody else.
yeah, but that's also a throwback to the tradition where boys wore shorts until they became men, and
Is
it was
Yes.
that
a rite of
why? Hold up,
passage.
hold up.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
What?
Is that why girls' booty shorts are called boy shorts?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think
Why are they
so.
called boy shorts?
I have no
The
idea.
cut, the way that
Yeah,
the way that they
Well,
cut
I
and
mean,
shape
how did he get
them.
the name though?
it's based on like on tank. So you know how guys have the tank brief?
No.
So there's boxers, and then there's the tidy whities, which is a
How do
brief,
you
and then there's also a tank cut, which is square. So the outline looks square. It's square at the top, and then at the bottom it's square. And so whenever you're wearing those, they are like boy shorts, like boy underwear.
Yes.
I'll show
Because
you a
we it's
picture
I
later.
basically
think I
because
might
for
have
all
on tank briefs what you're talking about.
Yeah. So and it's
Because they're
and
not as
it's
long as regular boxer briefs. The leg,
yes,
and
exactly.
they're a little bit. I mean, they have leg, but they're not as long as other
Exactly,
ones.
yeah.
Like the other boxer briefs are like this long. The ones I have right now are like this
Ex-
long.
yeah,
right.
it does make a difference. And it also frames the cheeks and lifts them up, depending on the cut.
But yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Talking about pulling down your briefs. All right.
Yeah, we got here. It's our
I mean,
But
permission to
yeah,
explore
I
your
was
roots
thinking about
and
it.
your toots, okay?
I bought them because they're like the bamboo stuff, like supposed to be better for my balls,
Yes,
basically.
the bamboo is supposed to breathe.
Yeah.
And I don't want anything breathing in my pants unless it's paying rent. But
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Heard that.
Submit your application
That's
to
I
stay
am
as you
taking
single.
applications, by the way.
Right. I am too. I am too. Go ahead and submit them. The artmidwife@gmail.com.
Right?
so. I have a question. You talked about earlier moving from girl to woman. So, what does it mean for you, like going to woman and from projecting girl energy?
That's y'all's questions. My God, they make me think. They make me use my brain. So, for an example, is we were taking a family picture, and my cousin, who is my age, he like grabbed my arm to position me in amongst the crowd. And it's something that you would kind of do to a child. You know how if you're trying to take a group photo, you move the kid over. And it occurred to me like he would not have done that to like the aunties or the mamas, or because he did it because in my opinion, I was in my girlness. And that is how people were treating me, like a girl, like a child. The way they treat me is like a child. When I talk about moving from girl to woman, it's about the energy that you're projecting out has more of a boundary to it, more of a confidence, more of an authority, a more of a like, yeah, I'm beautiful, I'm soft, I'm pretty, but don't you come over here touching me. Don't you, you know what I'm saying? You don't you come over here cussing at me, or don't you talk to me like that, or whatever the case may be. So It's being able to be fun and playful, but also don't you cross that line now, because I got
Okay.
something over here if you want it.
Oh, it's a
That is
motherfucking
that full on
woman.
auntie energy.
Yes.
That right there.
Hmm.
It's like, don't play with me. I am your
Right.
auntie.
Right.
Yes.
And
But don't push me type shit.
I'm realizing, so for them, you're not really a woman until you are over the age of like 25, or
Mhm.
you are married and or you are a mother. You aren't
Yes.
really seen as grown until you have passed certain thresholds. And it makes sense now, especially how in America we don't really have a ceremony for when we become women. It's kind of just
Mhm.
a thing that happens to our body legally. We turn 18, we get our cycle or like whatever, but there's never a ceremony to help the psyche understand that the girl is gone
Mhm.
and you are now the woman. And now, and obviously the inner child is there. That's a whole thing. But we don't
Some
have that.
tribes will actually have a ceremony to bury the girl
Yeah.
and then reintroduce the woman or
Yes.
introduce the woman to the tribe.
There's
Mhm.
many, like I remember learning about the menstrual ceremonies in
Mhm.
different parts of the countries when so I'm also a doula, and I learned
Mhm.
about the different ways the different ways that women are ushered when they're having their baby. And
Mhm.
so
Yes.
some cultures, that first blood that comes out while you're in labor, they take it and they bury it, and then they have a full funeral for
Yes.
the maiden. They
Yes.
cry for her. And then they come back to her and reintroduce themselves as if they've never met before.
Yes. Because
Look,
now you are the
imagine.
mother.
Right. And imagine what that does to your psyche. It is your
Yeah.
subconscious mind
Yep.
is where that change is taking place. And so it feels easier to embrace the mother because I have now
Mhm.
been witnessed by all
Right.
of these women and people that I respect.
Oh,
Mhm.
so you had that? You got to have that?
No, not
Oh,
in
okay.
that, not
Okay.
in that
I get what you're saying.
sense.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, dang, they did that for you?
No, I mean, I don't have my babies yet. They're coming
Okay.
though.
They're still in the ethers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they're loud and I'd be dreaming about them. But because of what I know now and that I share with my sisters and the women who are in my life, I now get to have that. I get
Mhm.
to curate that experience for me when it is time for me to become a mother in the physical. And I've helped other people do that. Like I've helped plan menstrual parties for young women who have their first cycle.
Yes.
There's a book called The Red Tent. Please read it. It's so good.
My
But
friend
yeah.
Jody was over a red tent society up in South Jersey. She is known as Jody the doula. She
Mm.
trained the doulas in New Jersey and wrote the curriculum for that. Maybe we'll have her on at some point in time. Jody's a fantastic person. And yeah, it is so wonderful to have that space where you're celebrating your body because so many times it's shunned or said it's unclean, it's dirty, it's filthy, whatever. And I think it's wonderful to actually share in and celebrate the miraculousness of the feminine form.
Ooh, yes, because baby, during Ramadan, so in the
Mhm.
Islamic tradition, if a woman is bleeding, she is not allowed to pray, even
Mm,
in the privacy of her own home. She's not
mm,
allowed to pray because she is seen as unclean. And
Damn.
so during my first Ramadan, when my cycle came and like I couldn't pray, I'm over here feeling some kind of way. Like I felt very like I'm gonna do it anyways. And you know, the rebellion. And so I had this moment where spirit was like, fuck what they're saying. How do
Mhm,
you feel about it? And
mhm,
I realized that yes, in Islam, they teach that this is a time of being unclean. I see this
mhm,
as I am the most clean that I could ever
mhm.
be. Yes,
mission.
this is the
Yeah.
most purity that I can have. Therefore, I am allowed to rest and do nothing. So I was able to reframe that in my own way and just abandon these programs that I don't have to accept. I can accept Islam and I can accept all of the parts and I love Islam. I really do. But that part, it ain't for me. And I don't have to accept it.
Right.
Man,
I
look,
love that.
I don't know much about Islam. I grew up Christian,
Mhm.
and I don't go to church no more. But that's the parts of Christianity that I'm with, and then there's a whole lot the way I grew up, and I ain't. And I see a lot of people going through that. And for me, it was 10 years ago, and I was like, I'm done going to church. So I feel what you're saying.
Well, a lot of people are talking about, well, it's in the Bible, and there are people who are now saying, yeah, but look at when this was translated, and look at what words that did not exist before,
Right.
and what words were chosen to go into this translation. And so the people who are trying to live word for word by the Bible, unless you're going back to the original text, no, just no. And
Yep.
so,
Which means you
but
have to
if
learn
you
a different language and then read it in that language. Like, yeah.
There's so
exactly.
many, like, oh my gosh. I follow a few Bible scholars, and when they be talking, I'm like, wow.
And you know, I've seen a lot of things based on the fact that homosexuality was not mentioned in
Until
the
the
Bible.
50s, ain't it?
Yeah, it was in the 1946 when the word
It
homosexual.
didn't get 20th century that shit was put in the Bible.
Exactly.
Shit
Yes.
crazy.
Hmm.
Yes. I saw some recent information about that and it was just, I can't even say surprised because homosexuality doesn't feel unnatural. Like it's just like it feels like a natural part of life to me. It was never a big deal, even as a kid. Like, do you? As long as you're not harming people, I don't care who you love.
It's interesting because lesbianism wasn't even thought of because women weren't thought of as anything more than property.
Right.
So women didn't have sexuality. They were
Oof.
just baby factories.
Just lay down,
Hmm.
be quiet, be
Yeah.
Right.
pregnant.
It,
Oh, that's a full circle. We were talking about that earlier. So here we are back again to the just sit down, be quiet, look pretty.
I know someone whose father told her cheerleaders are whores when she wanted to be a cheerleader.
yes.
Crazy work.
The unlearning that I've had to do on my feminine journey, just about what femininity is, what it is not. It's actually whatever the fuck I say it is. I get to show up in whatever feminine capacity that I want to because femininity is not about like it's not about how you dress or how, it's literally not about any of that. Like for
Right.
me, the most simplistic way to explain femininity versus masculinity is just think about the inhale versus the exhale. That's it. It's in and out. It's in and out. That's it. You don't have to make it too complicated.
Well, cosmically, the feminine is the ultimate potential. So imagine the universe, that darkness that was there. And the masculine is the piercing of the light. That's it. But
That's
there's
it.
ultimate potential in every woman. Person
Mhm.
born with a vulva, person born with a
Yes.
uterus, whatever, however we want to say that.
Yes, yes, because we're inclusive.
Yes. And
But
then
yeah,
and then the masculinity is that little spark that makes things happen.
I think the part of the programming to make women fit into a box is the masculine's fear of our influence on them. Like you want me to cover up my curves because if I walk up to you dressed a certain kind of way, smelling a kind of certain way,
You
I can
gonna
get you
get
to do whatever
aroused
the
and not
fuck
know
I
what to
want to
do
do.
with yourself.
And that is what they don't like. And
You
so
gotta
they're
Stand
learn how
trying
to
back, you're
breathe.
dancing kind of close.
Learn,
Feel a
right.
little
hey,
poke coming
learn,
through.
you gotta learn how to breathe, nigga.
Right. And I don't think men like being out of control in that way, even though it is your natural disposition to submit to me.
That's so funny because even when I was in high school, I had so I was part of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which meant I was doing drag because I started out playing Columbia and then I was playing Brad. But I was Columbia, and so being flirty with everybody was just part of who I was. And we were having a party, and the question was like, how would you describe each person in the room in one word, you know? And the oldest and straightest of the bunch, when they got to me, said, prick tease. And I was like, what did I do? And it's like, because you're always flirting. I was like, well, yeah, but you're supposed to be immune to that, you know? And it's interesting how even in that he was admitting that there was like my femininity was still coming through. And he's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna need you to step back on.
That's why guys who aren't secure,
Mhm.
used to be, are demonized homosexuals because they can feel that shit and they can see it, and they're like, "Am I gay?" And some of them, or they are afraid that if they allow it to come through, that they might be, and so they just like, it's wrong.
Hmm.
Right. And my femininity comes through in forms not just as, the wiliness, but also being motherly.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And so it doesn't necessarily mean that all my femininity is for sexual purposes.
it's crazy
Now,
to say that. Just
That's
because of
that's
how
so
we
good.
become friends, and I call you a lot for certain, like something will come up, and I'm like, "Hey, Paul Mark, yeah," and because there's things I can call you about that. I mean, I can't talk to my mom about.
it's because I walk in both worlds.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I'm both and neither. And so I can switch into the femininity and I have that expansive potential. I can hold a lot.
Hmm. So good.
Yeah.
I like that you said I'm both and neither.
Hmm.
That gives me permission just to be whatever I want to be.
Yeah. I'm both and neither.
if
Mm,
men like me, like hardcore masculine guys, learn how to be okay with their feminine energy,
Hmm.
and like she said earlier, submitting to her, like lately this year, I mean, I've been catching myself a lot. Like, damn, babe, you was right.
Yeah.
I'll go back to her and be like, hey, you right. She
mm,
doesn't even care about that, but she's just like, okay, cool. But I just want her to know,
yeah,
Yeah.
you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and so that's another part of it. Like
Mm. Lovey is just so brilliant.
6'2".
I I
Oh,
I
love
got a 6'2" daughter and a 6'3" son and a 1'3" wife.
I love that for you. Enjoy.
6'3" projector son. When a house full of generators, that's wild.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
but
I did
Lovey's a
want to ask
6'2"
you,
nanny, like y'all.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. And she
Laz, I
is,
wanted to go back to what, because I saw your face. I had said something earlier and I saw your face. You reacted to something I said about seeing my dad as a man, and you immediately thought about your seeing your parents as people. And I wanted to ask you, because you do have children, like how does that feel in your body, or what comes up for
me.
you when you think about your children seeing you just as
Well, I mean, I've had conversations with my kids like, I'm your dad, but I'm your guide here to help you be yourself. And I told my kids, y'all can call me Laz. Y'all don't have to call me daddy. I've never had made them say sir or ma'am. Like we were had to say sir and ma'am when we were kids and shit, or they felt
right.
disrespected. I've never done that with my kids. And I told them that I've had these conversations with my kids where it's like, yeah, I'm your dad. right? But you don't have to treat me like I'm some. I also want you to know that I'm here to support you. I'm here to guide you to be yourself. I'm not trying to turn you into a little version of me or a little, love you, a little version of your mom. I want you to be you. So,
Mhm.
and then when I heard Ta say that, I immediately went and told my kids, y'all can call me Laz if you want to. Lovey was like, mm-mm.
She's like,
She's
nope,
like, I'm
not at
calling
all.
you daddy. She's just now, she's 10 and a half or almost 10 and a half. So
Mhm.
she's still a little baby girl. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. XJ is 6 years older than Lovey. He was like, all right, Laz.
Right.
And he kept calling me Laz. I mean, and now he didn't keep practicing it, but that they know that they can call me Laz anytime they want.
Mhm.
So I want them to see me as a person, a human, not some pedestalization idea of that's my daddy. But
My
that's all
mom
up to them.
my mom was mommy until the day she died, and she's still
And I
mommy.
don't mind that,
Yeah,
but I just want them to, just like I learned to do, take me off the pedestal.
right.
Like
Yeah.
this is the label in our society, and physically I'm your father.
Mhm.
I planted the seed, but
Right.
that doesn't mean like I'm better than you, or I've lived longer than you. I have some wisdom in some areas you don't. So
Mhm.
I suggest this,
Right.
Yes. What
but
a beautiful full
like I
circle
said, I
moment.
got 2 6 lines.
Mhm.
So sometimes I'm just like, yeah, that's that 6 line shit.
They're good. Well, sixes
You
are
know?
threes until for the first 3 decades
My
of their life.
son is a 6'3".
Yeah, so
Oh,
right now he's a double three.
I was like,
yeah.
ooh,
He is effing around and finding out.
a lot.
Mhm. Yeah, a lot. A
Don't
lot.
be fucking around and finding out squared.
I love that.
I'm just
Right?
like, man, I love you. I'm here for you, fam.
So now, Rachel, does astrology or human design play a big part in your decision making and how you live your life?
Big is not the word I would use. Influential, absolutely. Because part of my human design, I don't know how to the term, but my 5 line is like on my sun sign. Basically, it's very important for me to move to the beat of my own drum.
Mm-hmm.
And fuck how everyone else says a Sagittarius is supposed to be. I define how my Sagittarius is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it colors a lot of my reality, but I also very quickly abandon what the stereotypical norm for a sign or a planet is to go with what I feel deeply that it is. And so, yes and no.
Thank you so much. You served a lot of tea today.
I did, and I'm surprised, excited, and also not feeling cringe at my vulnerability. I actually like it.
And it's like you had tea and snacks.
Yeah,
Oh,
I put that in my bio. I'm pretty sure that I like me some chapati. I like me some snacks. I like me a matcha.
yes. How do people find you? How do our people find you?
So on all platforms, including my YouTube channel, where I have a lot of psychedelic-based interviews, you can find me at the Art Midwife. I
Okay.
will say though, my Facebook account is for friends and family, so don't add me on there. If we're
Okay.
strangers, find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, the Art Midwife.
Okay. Excellent. And what's coming up for you next? What do you have coming up?
So right now I'm building a school classroom called The Spirit of Business with Miss Rachel. This is the #1 classroom for spiritual and wellness-based businesses to be able to learn how to create their offerings and then sell and market their offerings without participating in this weird, really weird patriarchal, capitalistic, consumer American society that is very normal. I'm not even going to say American, it's everywhere. Consumerism is so real. And so I'm teaching sales with ethics. I'm teaching the spirit, the essence of business for people who have healing and wellness based businesses. You know, we don't have to do the hard selling, the emotional manipulation, the psychological manipulation. It's bullshit. And just because it's normal doesn't mean we have to keep doing it. It clearly feels unnatural in our bodies. So I'm creating a space to teach other people how to market themselves in a way that doesn't feel icky and gross. Thank you guys for having me. This was good and juicy. I mean, it went left, right, up, and down, and yet we brought it back to a full circle. And it feels whole, it feels complete. I really would love to come back again. So please have me back if that's a thing you guys do.
This has been a wonderful conversation. It was so easy to have the conversation.
It's
Thank
so
you.
very natural. Yeah.
Thank you for kicking it off with us. This is the first episode of season 2. We got through our first season without killing each other. So actually, no, I'm going to cancel clear that because it has been a joy and it is wonderful to be able to work with a friend and to be able to hold space. Laz is the first one that has actually leaned in when the
Mm,
overwhelm is happening. And so it has been joyous because I get to hold space and work through whatever is going on, be it personally, professionally, whatever. And I get to do the parts that I enjoy, and it's wonderful to have a partner. I do not have the gate of starting, but I do have the gate of finishing. So it's wonderful to have someone that's like, hey, I want this. I need someone who has the gate of starting to like be my content manager because it's like, oh, I don't feel like doing it. But if somebody were to say, do this and make it look like this, then I'll look at it and be like, well, okay, I don't like that, but I'll do this because it gets me excited, you know?
Yeah, I'm
And
a responder, so that's all I needed to start. I don't have either. I'm not supposed to start or finish.
and
oh,
and
And I don't have
all I
the
did,
gates. I don't have the gates, but
right.
responding to it. When I found that out, I cried. Serious.
Yeah.
can you share? Because without even knowing, I have the starting gate. I don't have the finishing gate. So what gate you talking about? So I can know to look for my person.
I don't remember what number it
Hold on, I'm
is.
about to tell you right now. It's from root to sacral. It's the gate on the
Yeah.
left.
I know I got that starting gate. I can start
Uh,
anything, but finishing
5342.
Mm.
5342. Okay. So
Yeah,
basically, if it's
root
colored,
in the root shock
Mhm.
in the root center. 53 is starting in that channel, and to 42 is finished, and that's in
mm,
sacral. I don't have either.
And I just have the finishing.
53 or 42. Ooh, I can't wait to go look that up. I think I know for sure I have 53. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Mhm.
So thank you so much. Do
What?
you want to ask
That's the question. If you could give our audience permission to do something, what would it be?
I give you permission to claim who you are and to just be who you already are and to be out loud and unapologetic and shameless.
All right.
please like and follow so you can find out when we have new content. Check out our links in the description. My links can be found at bypaulmark.com and Laz can be found at
Creatorschool.com and the Lazarus Effect with an A because that means cause.com.
Share this with a friend, and especially if you enjoyed it. Reach out to us if you have any questions or topics you want us to discuss at the permission portal at gmail.com. And remember,
The portal is always open.